Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. However you want to live your life, it's Coach Baird coming to you live from the Baird Cave. You're listening to the Baird Necessities. This is episode number 16. Thank you so much for Laura Portis for joining me last time on my podcast. She was fun, and I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry for the hiatus. Last week was a short week for me with baseball, school, and family events going on. I was unable to get anyone in the Baird Cave, so thank you so much. Quick shout out to my boys at Gull Lake for winning the District 10 championship. That's right, District 10 for baseball. That makes it back-to-back for all those counting. We won it last year in 2018 as well. Thank you to all those who've listened to my past episodes. If you haven't yet, you can catch up on your own time. You can find me on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. Yep, check out the Baird Necessities on YouTube. Don't worry, I'll post videos eventually. I'm getting around that. I'm still kind of busy with baseball right now, so I haven't really put any more production value into the show other than just recording from my basement. So again, please follow me on Twitter at the Baird NEC, or you can send me an email at thebairdnec@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. I actually got an email from a parent that said that wanted me to reach out to their kid and get them on here, so I look forward to that. A good kid. I knew him before the parent even reached out, so I was looking forward to trying to hook up with him anyways. So now I have a better way of getting a hold of him, so thank you so much for that. Again, let me know if there's anybody else you'd like to get on here. Email me at thebairdnec@gmail.com. Okay, so again, this is cool. One of my former guests just got drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks. With the 74th pick overall, Tommy Henry was drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks, so congratulations, Tommy. Joining me this week in the Baird Cave is a special treat. This guy just finished up his sophomore season at Kalamazoo Valley Community College, and he recently decided to continue his baseball and academic career at Grand Valley State University. Joining me this week is a former player of mine. He did great things at Kalamazoo Valley, and we'll talk about that later in the podcast. He's a great kid. I had fun. I hope you enjoy it. Joining me on the Baird Necessities, it's Nate Wargolet. Welcome, Wargo.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
All right. You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, I'm ready if you are.
So how are things going, man?
Things are going well right now. Am I coming in pretty well, or?
Yeah, you sound great. So.
Okay.
Nate is the son of Paul and Darcy Wargolet. I know you have a brother. Do you have any other siblings other than Big Tone?
Nope, I just have Tone. He's my only brother.
All right. So you're the baby of the family. How is that growing up?
Being the baby of the family, it's all right, I guess. I mean, I definitely get spoiled more than my brother does, that's for sure. Athletically wise, I don't know. He gets kind of jealous that I'm a lot better at different sports than he is, but he's definitely got the brains of the family.
Okay, so you guys are very competitive athletically. What do you guys compete in?
All sorts of stuff. For instance, softball. If we're playing softball, like a home run derby, we try to see who can hit more home runs. Usually he blows me out of the water in that, but when it comes to basketball and playing hoops, usually I beat him by a hefty sum, and then obviously on the mound we're competitive because his fastball only topped out at 88 through his couple of years playing, and I was up to 91 this previous year, so he was jealous about that for sure.
Nice. I could see the little sibling rivalry going through. It was kind of nice to have both you guys in the program at different points and not together. It's kind of funny because, Big Tone was very interesting when we got a chance to coach him. He was on the last travel team I ever coached, and he was actually pretty dominant for us. And I think he got lost in the shuffle, I would say, on varsity because of all the arms that we had when he was going. So I think if he was a couple years sooner or a couple years later, might have been a little bit more beneficial for him. But like I said, he was a nice little lefty. So you throw a righty, am I correct?
Yeah, I'm a righty. I'm definitely jealous of him being a lefty. If I could change that, I would definitely like to be a lefty because they're the golden horses in the baseball world. So,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny story of Big Tone, real quick, before we move on. During a varsity game, I don't know if you remember this or if he ever told you this story. He was warming up and did his normal warm up, and then when it came to throw a live pitch, he started with his T-pose, stopped, and then threw. Wasn't all one motion. He stopped with the T-pose and then threw. Like it was nothing, like he normally did that. So, but yeah, that was one of my favorite moments with Big Tone. So what is he up to, by the way, lately?
Right now, he's working for ADVIA a little bit. He's got another job with my mother's company, and he helps out with them. He's got his daughter, Avery. She's 2, and right now he's just working, playing slow pitch. I'm actually on a slow pitch travel team with him. It's pretty fun to play alongside him and a couple other guys from the Kalamazoo area. And I don't know, he's enjoying life definitely, and he's always being a clown whenever I'm around him. So
yeah, he's always been a very interesting personality. But yeah, so
yeah.
he's got a daughter. Wow, how time flies. What is it like being an uncle?
I enjoy being an uncle, honestly. It's fun to go over to his apartment and see Avery. She's a character just like him. She isn't fully talking full sentences yet, but she still likes to say plenty of things. She loves the Disney Channel, so whenever I'm babysitting her, we got the Disney Channel every day, all the time, and it's enjoyable. I like it a lot. I'm definitely cannot wait till she gets older. I'm gonna try to teach her basketball, volleyball, because she's going to be tall and lengthy, and I mean, that'd be awesome as a female athlete, being able to dominate in volleyball and basketball as a tall, lengthy person. So
obviously going to take after her daddy with the height.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Now, I was going to ask you, did they ask you to babysit, or did they just kind of went past you and be like, no, maybe we shouldn't have him babysit?
Nah, I babysit. It's usually my mom, the grandma, that usually babysits the most, but I come along and I'll help every once in a while, and I don't know, it's enjoyable. My mom definitely has a lot more, she knows what's going on more than I do. Like, for instance, if Avery starts acting goofy, she knows she has to change her diaper or something, and me being a 20-year-old male, I'm clueless,
So have you changed your fair share of diapers then?
No, I have not. I leave that for my mom. I do not get into that business. I'm just the one that's supposed to spoil her and make her laugh. So
there you go.
She gets all the dirty work.
Right. That's a good role to have. That's basically like being a granddad, having the grandma do everything. So that's neat. One of my favorite things of coaching is being able to watch athletes grow and improve, see their siblings come up and do the same thing. Do you remember any of the baseball camps that Gully had that you went to?
Yes, I do. I remember going to a couple, and one specifically that I remember very, very vividly is, I think Coach Blakely was still running them. I think this was when I was 7 or 8, so that'd be around 2007, 2008. And I remember Mr. Walters had the radar gun out at the Little League fields, and he did his annual, let's see how hard you guys are throwing. And there was a group of 10 of us or so, and we were all throwing, and he's like, okay, throw a 4-seam fastball. And I actually this was funny, because when I was younger, I had a pitching lesson with Mr. Walters, and he taught me how to throw a fastball, but I held it as a changeup grip, like a palm ball / changeup, like a full. It wasn't a 4-seam grip, and then I never thought about actually changing it. So here I am 3-4 years later, I still am doing that, and I'm still throwing pretty hard, but I'm throwing a changeup. I'm not even throwing a fastball at the radar gun. So that was a funny memory, I remember. And I obviously remember button for Gatorades. That was probably one of the campers' highlights of the day. I remember they get so excited for that. And I don't know, it's just great. It was great to have all the varsity guys around at that time. I remember Ryan Clancy, Clarence, as other people call him. I remember him specifically. I remember Mr. Walters, Mr. Blakely. I don't know, you helped out with the Little League camps, didn't you?
Yeah, I have a nice little story about you and Noah.
Ah, yeah, there's plenty of stories about me and Noah to go around.
Yeah. I brought up the topic of camp because I remember I believe it was your last camp before you transitioned into high school baseball. You guys were the two of the biggest, squirreliest kids I've ever met. I was thinking to myself, we have to put up with these guys for the next 4 years. Oh my goodness. But
yeah, but you loved us. You loved us, though.
Oh, you guys were awesome. I think that class was pretty. Talent-wise, I don't think really was there, but as far as like the personalities and the craziness, like you, Stosh, who else? That'd be Noah. I'm trying to think.
Noah, Jarrett Miller.
Oh yeah, Jarrett.
There was Tanner with us and Austin Thompson.
Oh,
and
that
was the main.
Yeah,
that was the main group.
I remember that group. I have to make a quick shout out to Tanner because I forgot that he is going to Olivet College right now for baseball too, and I said that we only had one person go to Olivet, and that's Jake Allen. But no, Tanner, he listens to the show. He corrected me via email and said, "Hey, I'm going to Olivet. I'm playing baseball. Show me some love." So there you go, Tanner. Tanner Finn playing at Olivet College. So, but yeah, that group was a pretty interesting group. When did you start playing baseball altogether?
I believe, I don't remember specifically, but I think it was 8U or 9U. I started playing on the Michigan Eagles way back in the day, and that was with Coach Ron Miller, who's Jarrett Miller's dad. And that group consisted of me, Jarrett, I think Hunter Erickson was on that group.
Oh, wow, that's a throwback. I remember him.
And I think somebody else, but I can't remember him right now. But that was my first year, and I actually couldn't play that whole year because that's the same year I broke my pinky. So
how'd you break your pinky?
Cast on my hand. So
how did you break it?
It was a trampoline accident. I was with my neighbors and my brother, and this was only when I was 7. So my brother being 5 years older, my neighbors being 5 years older, I was the little runt of the group. We were on the trampoline playing basketball, actually, and I think there was a loose ball or something. We all dove for it, and somehow my pinky got all jacked up, and I broke it right there on the spot. But it wasn't a normal break. It was like 3 or 4 parts were kind of broke. So like when you see a normal broken finger, it'll look like it's kind of folded, and like messed up. But mine was like out sideways, and it was out sideways by a good 3-4 inches. So I had to go to the hospital and get it repaired, but it wasn't working when they were at the hospital. So I ended up actually having to have surgery on it because that was the only way it was going to be repaired to its best ability. So
that's pretty impressive for a 7-year-old to have to go through that.
Yeah. So that was my first. I've thankfully, knock on wood, never broken a bone since then, but I'm a baseball player, so
you never know what's going to happen.
In jinxes, so.
Right. I have a few thoughts on this podcast about what happens to people who get on it. There's been some good things that's happened. So Trent, your teammate being one of them, he had an awesome year. We'll talk about him a little bit later on. But did you play any other sports in high school?
I played football my freshman through junior year. I played basketball all 4 years and baseball all 4 years. So I should have played football my senior year to finish out my high school career as a 3-sport athlete, but I decided senior year I just wanted to condition with basketball and then focus mainly on baseball, and it turned out pretty well for me. So looking back at it, I'm not too upset about that decision.
I was going to ask if you had any regrets by doing that, but it obviously sounds like you made the right thing and you're living with it well. I know I decided to quit basketball and started wrestling my junior year and senior year, and every once in a while I have a random dream about trying out for the basketball team, which is kind of crazy because I should not have been playing basketball to begin with. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Did you play JV baseball for 2 years and 2 years on varsity?
So freshman year, I was up on JV, and I played the whole year on JV under Coach Walters. And then sophomore year, I played a decent amount of games on JV, and I actually went up to varsity 2 or 3 times and pitched. I remember Portage Northern, I pitched against Niles, and maybe another one my sophomore year, and then junior and senior year I was on the varsity. So
yeah, I remember that Niles game because that was the last time we ever had to play at Niles, and that was a road trip in a half.
Yeah, that's a long trek, especially on a bus with equipment on it too. So I mean, it's still fun though. I enjoyed. That was probably great memories there too in the bus, long road trips. I mean, even with the equipment jammed and the softball team usually yelling, I mean, you still got your buddies around you. So those are always good to have road trips like that on the school bus. I remember those.
So your junior year on the varsity was Blakely's last year, am I correct?
Correct.
What was it like having Blakely as a coach?
I enjoyed Coach Blakely. He was, looking back at it, he's a little different than Coach Walters, but they're still kind of similar. They both have laid-back personalities. They both like to joke around. And I don't really remember a whole lot from my junior year, but I remember a Paw game specifically. I was pitching against Paw my junior year, and there was a base hit up the middle. And I think they actually had Drew playing center field, and Trent was behind home plate, and Drew threw the runner out, and that actually ended up making WWMT, so it was kind of cool to have News Channel 3 have that play live. So that was a big highlight from my junior year, I remember. But besides that, I don't remember a whole ton about junior year.
I was going to say, what was the transition like between Blakely and Walters, but you obviously just answered that for us. What do you think? Do you think there was any other similarities or differences that they might have had?
I'd say they were a little different by coaching style, I guess you could say. When it came to games, Coach Blakely would set a lineup, and he'd like to roll with that. He'd be that type of guy, I felt like, that would roll out a lineup and feel like that's the best opportunity to win. Unlike Coach Walters, who's a little different, he'll set out a lineup, and then if tendencies or something changes, he'll make adjustments mid-game. So I feel like Coach Blakely's more of a guy who's going to roll with a ride-or-die lineup, while Coach Walters is going to change it up based on what he thinks is going to help him out the most.
Working with both, I've always noticed that Blakely tends to be more of a player coach instead of Walters, who's more of a pitching coach. So I think that's kind of what each of them brought differently to the game. Is like you said, you're right, Blakely would go ride or die with what he had, and then Walters, I think, would try to outsmart and, do this and do that and try to play chess a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back, do you have any fond memories of your high school career?
Fond memories. Speaking, I would say, I know me and Noah had a lot of memories together. Me and Tripper, we were always clowning together. I remember practices. We'd always be having fun together in the practices. Actually, I'd have to say practices were very enjoyable in high school. I enjoyed having my teammates around. I mean, A-Tom was always goofy. Tanner was always goofy. Jarrett was extremely goofy, and Stosh was. So, I mean, like, having that group of core guys that were all funny and all shared similar personalities definitely were unique. So
You said Stosh. What is he up to lately?
Stosh, for the most part right now, is working with his father, Tustin's Properties. They have apartment complexes and stuff and houses that they work on, but I haven't actually talked to him in a while, so I'm not exactly 100% sure what he's up to, but when we do link up, it's usually at the Y. We're usually working out together, reminiscing on old times. So,
right. How many Florida trips did you go on with the high school?
I went on 2, I believe. Yeah, I went my sophomore year, and then I went my senior year.
Gotcha. Any fond memories of those trips?
I remember the incidents of walking to 7-Eleven at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning and having cops return us back to the campgrounds. That was kind of interesting, to say the least.
You were part of that group, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
I wasn't sure if you were involved or who all was involved. All I can remember, who was the one who always wore cargo shorts, and that was it?
That was Brennan Barnett. That was his signature.
Was he the ringleader, or whose idea was it to do this?
Whose idea? I don't know. I think it was a collective group effort. For instance, I know Brendan definitely had a part of doing that, and I think him and Jarrett were the main guys who were out there and like found this idea hilarious that cops were taking us back to the campground. Meanwhile, a couple of others were actually kind of really nervous to find out what was going to happen. And I know going down there, Austin Thompson was telling me that he wanted to make sure we do something that's going to get remembered for Florida meetings passed. So, I mean, I guess we ended up doing something that the next time you guys have a Florida meeting, you guys tell them they're not allowed to do this because this dumb group did that. So it's funny to think about it now.
You'd be surprised at the amount of stories that we keep having to say, well, this stupid group did this, but, you know, it hasn't stopped since you guys have been gone. I mean, there's been other things that's happened that has trumped that, and it's been that Florida trip has always been a very memorable trip. But just to sum things up, your trip was it was a group of your guys. It was late in the evening. We go to Camp Weewa, which is in the middle of nowhere, which is why we like to go there, because you kids can't get into any trouble. We thought, but you guys decided you wanted to go to a gas station or go to McDonald's, get some food. What was your thought process?
It was like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and we were all hungry. So, I mean, we're not going to come wake the coaches up, even though looking back on it, I knew if I would have came and got you up, you definitely would have probably took us anyway.
By any means possible.
Yeah. We were hungry, so we made the trip, and then we were doing fine, but we went to the McDonald's, and it was closed, but there was a 7-Eleven across the street, so we made the mistake of jaywalking. That's what got the cops' attention. If we would have went to the nearest intersection and used a crosswalk, I don't think he would have did anything about it, but since we used a jaywalk and we walked across the middle of the Florida road, that's what made him turn his lights on, and it spooked us, to be honest, because we were all just expecting us to walk to 7-Eleven, get some Slurpees, get some snacks, and then walk back, and all of a sudden you got cop lights blaring on you, and you're like, what the heck's going on? So.
And it seemed to be a reasonably safe neighborhood, but until they brought you back and they explained what's going on. And it's funny that we've had a couple of incidences later on that seemed to be unsafe. I remember coming back one trip. When we were coming back from Tampa, they wanted to get some Taco Bell. And when I was turning onto the main highway, out of nowhere, a cop car just comes flying by. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Let him fly by. So I'm driving behind him. He pulls into the gas station next to the Taco Bell and just starts running into the gas station. And I'm like, okay, let's play this out and see what happens. The guys, everybody in the van is like, no, we need to leave. I'm like, what? You don't want your Taco Bell? No, we need to go now. So they're all freaked out. So it was kind of crazy. But yeah, apparently that can be a little bit sketchy at night. And I guess it's a little bit busy. That place is always busy on that main road. So having a bunch of teenagers walk around at night can be pretty hazardous to your guys' health. So
yeah.
What were your thoughts coming back to camp in a police car?
So funny story. So we're getting into the cop car, and there's the guard right there. So there's the steel guard, and I didn't know that the door shut so tight to that steel guard that separates the back seat from the front seat. So I go to close the door with the handle closest to the seat, kinda. So as I go to close the door, my thumb gets stuck between the seat and the steel guard. So I start yelping in pain.
Oh, geez.
And I had Tanner next to me, and Austin was going to sit shotgun. So I kept yelling at Tanner, help, help, help. And he was very confused what was going on. But A-Time got out, and he actually opened the door. Because once you close the door from the inside and the back seat, cop cars, obviously, you can't open them from the back seat. So unless you get out and open them from the outside. So then A-Time gets out and opens the door, and sure enough, my thumb is already starting to swell up, and I feel like a total idiot. But that was even rough than when the cops rolled up on us. So I was like, first, you got the cops coming up on us, and then second, you have me being an idiot and getting my freaking thumb stuck, and it hurt so bad.
Yeah, all I remember from that is all the running you guys had to do the next morning.
Yes, we had a long run, and it wasn't too bad, honestly. Jarrett and I and A-Tom were doing. Actually, A-Tom got to skip out. He was lucky. He had his treatment that he had to do with his vibrating whatever jacket thing that he puts on. So he skipped out on the running, actually. So he was lucky. Me and Jarrett were up running with Coach Walters. That was fine. And sure enough, Coach Smith and Brendan Barnett are back there huffing and puffing, so we kind of made a joke about that throughout the rest of the camp, but it was definitely funny. So,
Anything else happened during that trip?
not a whole lot besides that. I mean, the 7-Eleven experience was one that I'll never forget, definitely. And the trip to Daytona Beach is always enjoyable. So if you're coming into the high school and you're excited for the Florida trip, the Daytona Beach trip is usually very enjoyable. I mean, the Fireflies game, at that time we went to the Tortugas game, and then my senior year we went to the Fireflies.
Okay.
Fire Frogs, excuse me.
Right.
So
this year we got to go see the Lakeland Flying Tigers, which was kind of neat.
Ooh, that's enjoyable. I got to do that with my Valley team this year too when we went down to Florida because we had a off day, so we actually ended up going to see the Lakeland Flying Tigers, and we saw Casey Mize, him and his wife actually there, or wife or girlfriend, and we saw Dallas Braden, the old pitcher for the Athletics. He was there, and he's part of the Barstool baseball Twitter page. So he was joking around, and it was cool to see him with my Valley teammates.
That's cool. That's cool. That's an interesting experience. I'll talk more a little bit about traveling down in Florida and all that stuff when we talk about your college career. Explain to me about this owl. Was it an owl or a hawk?
It was I don't know. I think it was an owl, or it was a hawk. It was something. But I remember we named him Jebediah, and I believe you were the one that made the Twitter page for him. That was hilarious.
I did. I made a Twitter page for him, but he started trolling, and I had to stop.
Yeah, that was very funny to see. But I don't even know. I just remember Coldwater, the invitational tournament we always do there. They had one, and I think it was actually my idea to bring him out. So there was the hawk there that they usually use to keep birds off their field. So it was my idea to bring him out and put him on the water cooler. And then, I don't know, I can definitely attest to having Trooper help me out with that. Me and him always spur up crazy ideas together, and then we roll with them. So me and him started goofing around with it. And before I know it, by the end of the game, when we actually won the tournament, me and him ran that hawk out there. So we had a trophy in one hand of that pile, and then we had a hawk in the other hand. And it was goofy to see, but, I mean, that was our team chemistry. So
I'm pretty sure I still have pictures of that with us with the trophy and the hawk. So
yes, I have pictures too. It's hilarious to look back on.
Now, we are convinced that you guys stole the hawk and brought it home.
Nah, that was a new one that we bought. So
okay.
We left the one sadly at Coldwater. Somebody wanted to take it. I was just going to leave it, but we ended up deciding we should just leave it. And then Austin Thompson went out and bought another hawk that we actually adopted and started using for the rest of the year. And it was funny because Coach Blakely had no idea about it. He didn't think much about it, and then all of a sudden he's going to get a drink of water, and there's this weird plastic bird sitting on the water jug, and he's like, what the heck is going on? And we told him the story, and he had a laugh about it, so It was all in good fun.
It's one of those you just keep walking and not ask questions.
Exactly.
Whatever happened to Jebediah?
But when you're around goofy high schoolers, there's a lot of moments for that where you just walk past and you're just like, what the heck? And then you just keep walking.
Right. Whatever happened to Jebediah?
I think Austin took him, and then that was the last I saw of him. But I don't know. I remember Matt Ruge, he started messing with the bird, and he actually started like throwing it around, and I'm pretty sure something broke on the bird. And then Scholes got on in the act. And those two were like the equivalent of me and Trooper. They were both when one had a goofy idea, the other helped him along with that. And when the other had a goofy idea, he started helping them along with that. So, like as it was me and Trooper bringing the bird to the dugout, Ruge and Scholes were the ones to take it out of the dugout. So
nice. I was convinced that you guys decided to sacrifice it in a fire down in Florida?
Maybe that happened. I don't remember.
Yeah, I asked about it, and they said, "Well, I think they threw it in the fire." So, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what happened to it, but I'm not sure. Again, all I know is crazy, and I just thought it'd be funny to create its own like Twitter account, just because I just gotten into Twitter and wanted to have a little bit fun. And why not? You guys are being goofy. Sometimes us coaches want to be goofy like you guys too. So.
Yeah, I found it hilarious when I found that Twitter account, and then all of us were asking each other, who the heck made this account? And then I remember we were talking about it at practice, and you got this goofy grin on your face. And we go, there's the culprit right there. But it's hilarious, to be honest.
I wonder if I should bring that back and just start trolling people. No, I'm kidding. I won't troll. It's not very nice to bully people. So going into your senior year, were you thinking at all at life after high school?
I was just hoping to keep playing after high school. I mean, I was thinking about possibly going to Western as just a normal student, but then I thought about it, I wasn't ready to give up baseball yet, so I actually ended up getting offered by Cornerstone, so I went there out of freshman year. So
okay. Now, was there anybody else that were interested, or how did your recruiting process go?
I went to Cornerstone. I also remember Olivet wanted me, but I didn't really want to go to Olivet at the time. And Alma was interested. And I hadn't really heard much from the JUCO programs. So I was just like, you know what, I got an NAIA and 2 Division III teams. It's better than nothing, so we're just going to play this out and see what happens. And I ended up actually getting a pretty good offer from Cornerstone, so I decided I might as well go there and try it out. So
you tried it out, and what happened at Cornerstone?
It just wasn't the right fit. I thought it was going to be like that after high school. I thought that I could go there, and the facilities were great, obviously. If you see pictures of the stadium and everything, it's obviously eye-appealing, but it just wasn't the right fit for me. I was still only 18, so I was still trying to mature, and I don't know, there's strict policies towards making sure you go and do everything that they have, because it's a religious school. So, for instance, going to church and studying the Bible and all that. And growing up, that wasn't a huge part of my life, so that was definitely an adjustment. And I took away good things, and at the same time, after the first semester, I decided I don't really think this is the right fit, so I ended up transferring out.
Now, did you play fall ball with them at all?
Yeah, I played fall. I was good. Actually, I was on the varsity roster, but there was 15 freshmen recruited there, and I was one of the 3 to thankfully make the varsity roster. But we never ended up actually getting into any of the varsity fall games, so we played a lot of JV games. So that made me start to question my roles towards the upcoming spring. Well, the good thing was that, I don't really know if it was a good thing, but the other 2 freshmen that were there with me also had reduced roles, so it didn't make me feel like I was way out of the loop, but at the same time, it just made me question if I was going to sit all spring or I was going to get innings on the varsity team. So, I don't know, I just ended up deciding it was best to transfer.
Okay, so you decided to transfer. So what prompted the transfer to KVCC then?
Trent, actually. I texted Trent and said, I don't really know if Cornerstone's going to be working out for me. So he ended up he was at the Christmas party, the annual Cougar Christmas party, and he was talking to Coach P about it and said, hey, I got a right-hander that's interested in coming here. And they had just actually gotten rid of some of the guys had quit the program. And he said, yeah, I got a spot open for him. So I actually ended up going there, and little did you know, I actually ended up competing and starting that upcoming spring. So it was a great decision on my part.
So going from, what was it? Cornerstone was an MIAA, right? Or is that Division III?
Yes.
So
NAIA.
NAIA. So going from an NAIA to a JUCO, you didn't have to sit out at all? You could go straight to playing?
There was questions about me having to sit out the spring year, But it turned out, since thankfully, like I was saying, I didn't actually end up playing in any of the varsity fall games. So that actually what prompted me being able to transfer and play it this spring year.
Okay.
Because I think if I would have played for the varsity in this one of those fall games, I think that would have made me ineligible.
Okay.
So looking back on it, I was questioning my role, but after I transferred, it actually ended up being a saving grace. So that actually ended up being huge for me.
Right. So KVCC obviously seemed like a really good fit for you. So what was it like adjusting to college?
College wasn't that much different. I mean, I went to Valley and realized it was pretty easy as long as I make sure I buckle down on my schoolwork, go to my classes, and it helped that I also had my parents around to help push me or keep me on track. So that was good to see, and it turned out actually being pretty well.
So what are you majoring in?
I'm getting a business degree from Valley, and then when I go to GV next year, I'm going to go into their sports management program, and that's what I'm thinking about getting my bachelor's degree in.
I don't want to have to compete against you too. Gosh, everybody's getting their sports management degree. I'm trying to do that. Gosh.
Yeah, it's a popular trait for people.
I know. Well, they didn't have that when I was going through college the first time. So opening it up and, realizing that there's a lot of sports jobs out there that people can do with a sports management degree. It's obviously been very lucrative for colleges to start producing that program. So
yeah, I'm excited for it, definitely, because something in the sports business world has been a dream of mine, just like a lot of kids, obviously. And I don't know, I think it would be cool to work in a front office somewhere, or coaching. The coaching aspect I'm also interested in, maybe further down the road.
Right.
So I know for a lot of kids it's definitely a call that they're looking forward to. So I think that's why most colleges are offering that program, because they know all the popularity that's among it.
Right. Am I correct that Tustin's in the same field?
I think he's just going into general business. I don't.
Okay.
At Valley right now, so.
Okay, gotcha. What is it like having your high school teammates on your college team?
It was cool, actually. I enjoyed playing alongside Trent and Cade. They both had outstanding years. Cade, especially this year, grew leaps and bounds. And it was cool to look back on seeing these aren't the same kids that I played alongside high school. None of us were. Like, my fastball rose in velocity. I started to do pretty well. Trent made leaps and strides, obviously.
Cade, I did not see that coming with Trent. He just blew up, and I'm so proud of him. I'm glad he did what he did. I'm glad he's going on to Ball State, so I'm excited to see what Cade's going to do next, too.
Yeah, I'm excited, too. I think Cade's going to do very well, and he's going to go to a school of his dream, and that's exciting to see, because the three of us were all in the same boat, just all looking for an opportunity to keep playing, and Valley supplied that, and we took it and we ran with it, and it worked out great. So me and Trent are going to the schools that we want to go to, schools that we're going to go and we're going to compete, and Cade's going to be right there next year.
Any idea where Cade's going?
I can't tell you honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I know he was talking to Eastern a little bit throughout the year, so
okay.
Yeah, I had a hunch maybe he's leaning towards them, but me and him haven't really talked about it that much. But he's still got more schools to come looking at him, so I think he's going to take his time with his process, see what's out there, and make a decision when he feels best fit.
I was going to say, with the year that he had, I mean, I'd expect more colleges coming after him too. I mean, that's what I like about JUCOs. There's a lot of kids that you're not sure what they're going to do in college. So they go to these big schools and they get washed out with all the other talent that's there. And then they kind of get flushed away, where you have all these JUCOs who are, they're learning, or they're teaching these kids. They're dealing with mechanics. They're dealing with swings. They're dealing with this. They're taking the time to do that. And, it is their job to win, but, you see these coaches are trying to teach them. Whereas if you're at the higher level, the coach's job is to win and not teach. So But yeah, it's good. You obviously you have a great coach. How do you pronounce his last name? I had this conversation with Trent too. I still struggle with his last name.
Cody Paichaki.
Paichaki. Gotcha.
Yep.
That's rough. That's a rough thing to say. Poor guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, definitely. Him and my brother were okay together. My brother struggled a little bit, so he kind of didn't play a whole bunch. So when I talk about it with Coach P, he likes my brother, and my brother I don't really talk about it much, but he probably has mutual feelings. But me and him, we get along pretty well. Last year I was shy because I'm that type of person that is pretty shy until I get to know people, and then I start talking a lot. So last year I didn't talk a whole bunch, but after 1 year, this year I was talking all the time, and it was great because me and him would have some good talks in the vans from game to game with other players, and it was just good to pick a baseball mind. So
what was it like traveling with the team?
I enjoyed it. So we took vans, and I think the vans actually helped a lot with team chemistry, because if we would have had a charter bus, I think everybody would have either been sleeping or had their headphones in and not really paying attention. But since it's a van and you're literally right next to another guy, you have to mesh with them. So we had all sorts of goofy experiences, all sorts of good talks, talked a lot about baseball, talked a lot about politics, all sorts of stuff, just mainly maturing as a man and being a contributor to society. I think that was a main aspect he wanted to push across, and I respect the hell out of that for that, because when you think of baseball coaches, you just think of people that are trying to teach you the fundamentals of the game, and they're trying to teach you what's the best way you can become in the game. But then you have other baseball coaches who do that, plus they teach you the life aspect. And it's cool to think about it, that baseball is not only a sport, also it's going to teach you a lot about life. And you're going to struggle, but I mean, if you keep pushing through and you work your tail off, good things are going to come to you. So that was definitely a message that was sent to me throughout the year.
Nice. Now, when you guys travel, did the pitchers ride with the pitchers, or did they kind of like mix things up?
So, funny story. So when we were going down to Florida, the hitting coach, my hitting coach picked out a couple of guys, and then Coach P got stuck with the rest of them, and it turned out my hitting coach put a lot of the hitters in there, and there was only so there was 3 bands down to Florida, but then the rest of the year there was only 2. So the hitting coach had all hitters besides 1 pitcher, and then Coach P had all pitchers besides 2 hitters. So like you were saying, it ended up being pitchers and hitters, but it was still good to have a couple of hitters in on our band, because when our pitchers complained about something, they would tell us from a hitter's aspect about things, and it was, I don't know, it kept you kind of level-headed, I guess you could say.
Kind of seeing both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, during games when you weren't pitching, did you sit in the bullpen, or did you guys just sit in the dugout? Is there a bullpen? I guess I don't know.
It depended. It depends. Like, if there was a bullpen, sometimes we go down there and we hang out for a little while, but for the most part, the starters had to be in the dugout, because they had to do spray charts, like looking at hitters' tendencies. They had to do pitching charts for their fellow pitcher. So the 4 starters had to be in the dugout, usually doing all sorts of stuff, but the relievers could kind of hang out in the bullpen and do whatever in case they had to get the call. They were making sure they were doing their Jaeger bands and all sorts. So it was, but if there was a bullpen down there, we'd definitely go down there for a while and we goof around as a pitching staff. I know we usually started bringing a football, and we played football, tossing around with each other, and I don't know, just talking about all sorts of stuff and having a good time.
What's the craziest thing you ever did in the bullpen? That you can tell us. That you can tell us.
I don't know. It wasn't too wild, honestly. I mean, threw the football around, had dance sessions every once in a while if we were feeling goofy. For some reason, I like being an idiot and dancing even if I can't dance. So that's not really wild, but it was still funny.
Right.
What else? I don't really know, honestly. We were kind of lame, to be honest. Coach P would say we're kind of a lame group of guys at times, but looking back on it, we kind of were. We had a lot of chances where it could be really weird, but we never really took a hold of them, so
Nice.
nothing too crazy.
Nice. Now, what conference were you guys in?
We were in the MCCAA West Division, so we were alongside Kellogg, Lake Michigan, Ancilla, Glen Oaks, and Grand Rapids.
Okay.
And Muskegon. So that was our conference outlook.
Who was your biggest rival?
I would say Kellogg definitely, because Kellogg they're a really good program too. So we always knew when it's Kellogg week, that's when you got to be most focused, because we want to obviously be focused every single week for every opponent. Because I mean, like this year, we lost a couple of games that we should have never lost. For instance, Glen Oaks, we went 3-1 against. We should have swept them. We went 3-1 against Muskegon. We should have swept them, and same with LMC. So looking back on it, we were very focused for Kellogg, and we ended up actually doing pretty well against them. We were 2-2, but we should have actually swept them. Game one, we were up 9-3, and then the bullpen went out there and they started to struggle. We ended up actually losing that one. So it was 9-3 in the bottom of the sixth, and with 6 outs, they managed to score 7 runs and beat us 9-10. So that was kind of a bummer, but we won game 2, won game 4, but then dropped game 3 also. But we should have probably won that one because Nick O'Day, my fellow sophomore right-handed pitcher, did really well. And we ended up losing 4-3, but he pitched a heck of a ball game. So that week was intense. We were focused, and we ended up actually splitting that series. We were hoping to do better, but looking back on it, I'm not too upset about it.
Let's talk real quick about the no-no you threw. It was against Mid-Michigan College, right?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Explain what exactly happened.
Not much to tell, honestly. Just went out there and was throwing strikes. I had a pretty good game. I mean, looking back on it, I had 3 walks. I wish I would have got that down a little bit, but I had 7 strikeouts at par with that. So I was just going out there and I competed. It went only 5 innings, so looking back on it, I don't really know if it's a huge accomplishment that I threw a no-no in 5 innings, but it was still pretty cool to see. My teammates did a great job actually coming out and celebrating with me. That was actually a really special moment. And thinking about it, it was enjoyable, definitely, because, I mean, how many people can say I've thrown a no-hitter before? So
right.
It's really cool. I actually threw one in high school against Benton Harbor my sophomore year, but it was through 3 innings that we mercied them 15-0. So nobody really cares anymore. So I'm not going to count it. So
together that's 8 innings. So that's close enough, right?
Yeah, I would say so with those 2 combined. So the Mid-Michigan game was special. I mean, I still have the lineup card that Coach P gave me that says my no-hitter and my pitch count and all that. And I'm definitely going to hold on to that for a long time. I have the game ball, and I don't know, it was just a wild week, I guess you could say. I just went out there, I competed. My team did explosive on the offensive end, and we ended up seeing them and getting the complete game shutout. So
nice. Now, you guys ended up playing in Sandusky. What was in Sandusky that you played there for?
We went there for the NJCAA Region 12 Championship. So there's 8 teams, 3 from the West Division, 3 from the East Division, and 2 from the Ohio region, and they all come together in Sandusky to compete for a shot at the World Series. We did pretty good in that. We ended up coming top 4. It was We lost the first game against Lansing on a walk-off, so that was kind of a stinger. But then we bounced back with a win against Mott. Next day we bounced back with a win against LMC. Next day we got knocked out by Sinclair, but we were close to winning that game. We were up in the 8th inning, but then the bullpen, like it had throughout most of the year, struggled a little bit, so they weren't able to finish it out. But it was still cool to go up against the number 2 team in the nation and get to see the kind of arms they have. They were talented, definitely. They had a guy, Mike Sears, I remember, hit a really, really hard, a long home run. He hit it over the batter's eye, actually, so it was an absolute bomb.
Wow.
And it was cool looking back on it.
Did you get to go to Cedar Point while you guys were there?
No, sadly. If we would have won our first game against Lansing, that was going to be our best chance at Cedar Point. My junior year when we went to Sandusky, we won game 1 and actually ended up going to Cedar Point. But my sophomore year last year, we lost. So then the next game was right after that, and then the LMC game was at a weird time. So after that game, we didn't have time to make it to Cedar Point.
That stinks. Baseball is more important, so it makes sense. So you finish up your sophomore year, and you're transferring to Grand Valley State University. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
So how did they come into the picture?
What do you mean by coming into the picture?
Well, how did they find you? How did they start getting interested in you?
Okay, so they came. So they came in the fall, and they watched Coach Titillian, the head coach, ended up coming, and he watched a practice, and I was pitching that day, so he was watching me, and that was probably the first time I've thrown 90 before in front of him, so that definitely got his eye, and then he reached out to me. We talked a little bit, and then he had me up for a visit, offered me, and I decided right there that was probably the spot that I wanted to go, because Grand Valley was a spot that I've wanted to go for a long time, because when I was a junior, I want to say, Coach Walters and Coach Titillian were having a camp up there. It was a Grand Valley State camp, but Coach Walters was helping out with it, and I went up there for that, and that was great to hang out in the Kelly Sports Center, do cardio and all sorts of stuff in the Kelly Sports Center, and then I got to actually play live on the diamond. But as a junior, I wasn't going to be able to fit at that program because I was only throwing about 80, 81, so obviously they weren't interested in low 80s, so it didn't work out, but it had been a spot that I wanted to go. So then my journey happened to JUCO. I developed, got better, and then he actually ended up coming. I pitched for him. I was throwing a lot harder than I was as a junior, and he ended up offering me, and I decided that was the place that I would like to continue playing at. So,
was anybody else in the picture as far as wanting to see you come play at their university?
I got offered by Arkansas Pine Bluff down in Arkansas. It was actually my first Division I offer. I decided that wasn't probably going to be the right fit for me because it's a small school, plus it's pretty far away from home, so I don't really know if that would fit my character, my personality, kind of. So I ended up telling that coach, thanks for the offer, but it's not the right fit. Davenport contacted me. I ended up going there for a visit, but they didn't end up actually offering me a scholarship. I got reached out by multiple Division II teams. Davenport, Grand Valley, Wayne State, and Northwoods. Those are the main D2 teams that I was reached out by. Division I, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Eastern Illinois, both contacted me. I was actually interested in Eastern Illinois, but I never ended up going for a visit, so they didn't really pan out. But they had a pretty good year in the OVC, so maybe that could have been, but I'm really happy with my Grand Valley decision.
Now, you said you went up to Davenport. What do you think of their facilities?
Davenport, their field was very nice. Their locker room's cool. But the thing that kind of threw me off guard a little bit about them is that they have to use the elite hitting facility in Lake Grand Valley that has its own indoor place that they can practice at. The Davenport players have to drive, like, I think it's 10 miles down from their campus to the elite hitting facility that they practice indoors at.
Okay, I did not know that.
That was kind of weird to think about, but I don't know. I decided Davenport. I don't know if it was going to be the right fit for me either. So.
Well, obviously you picked Grand Valley, so anchors up. Is that what they say?
Yeah, anchor up.
There we go. So what are your future goals?
Future goals are to go to Grand Valley, compete. I told Coach Chatillian that with a scholarship offer, I still want to have to compete for a starting job, compete for innings. I don't want to be a guy that gets a scholarship and thinks I have it handed to me, because that's not the way I'm operated, not the way that I would like to go about my business. So I told him, even with this scholarship opportunity, I'm still gonna want to work for my innings and whatnot. And after that, I don't know, I want to get stronger in the weight room, want to continue to increase my velo, and future aspirations are just to keep grinding, keep getting better, and seeing what happens. So
nice, very nice. Any fond college memory? Hold on. Any fond?
What'd you say?
Sorry, I'm trying to spit out something. Now, do you have any fond college memories?
Fond college memories. I don't know. Enjoying being around my Valley teammates has been a blessing. I like them. I mean, I love them all to death. They're all great guys. They all have the same hard-nosed attitude. So they're just going to go and they're going to be scrappy. Coming out of high school, I didn't know much about the JUCO route. And like a lot of people, they look down upon it, but the people that actually went there can tell you differently. And you compete. I mean, heck, you go out there and you face guys all with a chip on their shoulder, all just like you, didn't get what they wanted out of high school, I guess you could say, or what they could. So they go to a JUCO program and they got their chip on their shoulder, and it's just grind, and it's cool to be around that, because looking back on it, it's all these guys that all have the same goal in mind. They all want to win, they all want to get better, and they all want to have fun. So put those three things together, you have championship caliber teams. So it was cool to have that around me.
Nice way to put it. I've liked every answer that you've given so far. It was the thought and the content that you put in it. And a lot of athletes are like,
I'm going to be on this podcast. I got to keep it interesting. I can't be a boring guy that's just giving you one-word answers,
I've been lucky to not have anybody that's done that. Sometimes when you're doing interviews, you kind of have to feed things to kids or feed things to people. But every guest that I've had, I've been lucky. They've been spot on. They know exactly what to say. And usually I have to apologize. This one's kind of a last minute. The original person that was supposed to come in wants to spend a little time with his wife. I don't understand why. He's going to be gone all week. But anyways, he kind of canceled last minute. So I'm like, who can I get with on short notice? I'm like, okay, I always wanted to do one with you and Stosh, and Stosh is going to be out doing his own thing right now. But getting you in, normally when I have people in, I give them kind of an outline or a run through of what we're going to talk about. So it kind of gives them an idea of what to say or what to think about. But you're going cold turkey on this when you have no idea what I'm doing. So it doesn't even sound like it. It feels like I'm feeding you the answers, but you're doing a really good job keeping me on my toes.
That.
Yep. So you gotta work on Cade Stanton for me too. I want to get him in here, but he is a little bit gun shy.
I was thinking about it, honestly, when I was about to call you. I was like, maybe I should get Cade on the phone, but I don't know. I don't really know if he really wants to be interviewed right now. I think he just wants to continue to keep his head down, just work, and then see what happens for him. I mean, like we were saying earlier, sky's the limit for that kid. He works hard. I mean, coming into this year, I had not seen him work that hard before. It was crazy. Like, he started going to the mid-length, started hitting 5 days a week, and his swing got crazy better. He started hitting balls. He was probably one of our leaders in hardest hit balls this year because he hit some absolute shots that were like, holy cow. So sky's the limit for that kid. I wish him the best. I wish all my Valley teammates the best. I know they're all going to just go there next year. All the freshmen going to go there next year. They're going to work their tails off. They're going to take the freshmen under their wings, and they're going to try to compete. So I wish them all the very best.
I honestly think that KVCC is leading on how many people have been on this podcast because I had JT, he was on, so he's going to Valley. I had Trent, and now I have you, so that's 3. I've only had 2 Michigan State Spartans and 2 Michigan Wolverines and 1 Virginia Cavalier. But other than that, you guys are pretty much leading.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, I think when it comes to the JUCO program, it's starting to get noticed. JUCO route's starting to get noticed, and people are starting to see that if you go there and you work your tail off, schools are going to come looking because, like Coach P was telling me, it's changed a lot in the last couple of years. Previously, a lot of coaches would go right out of high school and try to get young, raw talent, but the last couple of years has showed that the JUCO way has proven more success, so they start going to the JUCO. So these JUCO tournaments that teams go to and teams compete in, they get noticed by a lot of scouts. And, I mean, you go out there and you show out for all these scouts, your phone's going to start ringing for them. So
nice. Now it's time for the fun segment of the show. It's a chance to get to know the personal side of Nate Wargolet.
Okay.
We've heard the baseball side. Now we get to hear the personal, funny, goofy side of Nate Wargolet, which I'm sure is going to be crazy and hilarious because I've had a chance to hang out with this guy before in a dugout. So here we go. Is there any special talents that you have that most people don't know that you possess?
Goofy talent. Looking at it, I honestly don't know. I'm just a goofy guy in general, I guess you could say. So most of the things that I have, I share with a lot of people. So I can't really say there's one specific thing that I don't share with other people. If anybody knows me, I like to laugh. I like to make jokes. I like to goon around with people. So
nice. So is there any talents that you do have that you want to share?
I don't know. I can whip up a mean bowl of spaghetti, but that doesn't take much skill.
You'd be surprised.
Other talent. I don't know. I'm not crazy athletic, so it's not like I can like ride a unicycle or something. But if I tried, maybe I could. I don't know.
You know, that just shows that pitchers are not athletes. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We always joke about that.
There's moments where pitchers all of a sudden go crazy athletic. I mean, it's funny to see it because like sometimes when position players would come over and they would want to play with the football, some of the pitchers would actually be out schooling them. Like they'd be running routes and they'd be schooling the position players. And it's funny to think about because pitchers get the rep. They aren't athletes, but when it comes to like other sports stuff, sometimes they're crazy. So
let me guess, you're like really good at bowling.
Yeah, I'm okay at bowling. I got the bumpers on, but if you aren't living the bumper way, you aren't really bowling. So
we'll have to go bowling then. I can't wait to try that. All right, if they made a movie about you, who would star in it?
Who would star in me? I don't know. I feel like, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank right here.
Dave Bautista?
It's really, I feel really, really stupid. I can't think of it right now, but I'm getting tongue-tied on the podcast right now.
That's okay.
Who's the guy that...
We could always edit it out.
Happy Gilmore.
Adam Sandler?
Adam Sandler, yes. That's who would probably do my role in a movie.
Now, would you bring all your friends in and give them parts too like he does?
Yes, I would. I definitely could see some friends with David Spade and Chris Rock and all of them. I could definitely see that. But Adam Sandler just is like me because we're both goofy. We both like to mimic people. We both like to be all goofy and say all sorts of weird stuff. So,
if you need a Kevin James, let me know. I'd be a good fit.
You'd be a good Kevin James, definitely.
All right, who would be the love interest in this said movie?
The love interest. I'm a big Jennifer Aniston person, I gotta say.
She's not too old for you?
I don't know. She's almost fit. She is fit. I think she's 50, but she's still good looking for being 50 years old, I gotta say.
Right. I can't blame you. Yeah.
I
She
mean,
was hot back in
she's
the day.
she's like Tom Brady basically. She's the ageless wonder, so it's crazy.
Right. That's crazy. Nice. All right. If you could go back in time and observe any event in history without changing the outcome, what would it be?
An event in history. I never thought about that. I honestly, I don't know. I got to give that one some thought. Come back to me on that one.
All right. I'll come back. We'll circle around on that one. If you could meet any celebrity, who would it be and why?
Like I said, Adam Sandler. I think me and him would get along great. Either him, Adam Sandler, or Will Ferrell. I feel like would probably be the most interesting people to meet. Because like other actors you meet and you like see, and it's like, I guess they're all right. But then you see those two, and I mean, you can't tell me you've ever seen an Adam Sandler or a Will Ferrell movie and not had a laugh about it. Because those two are absolute comedians, and I think those two would be great to hang out with and laugh with. So
I'm surprised there hasn't been a Adam Sandler and Will Ferrell movie. We got to check that out and see if that's happened.
Yeah, I don't know if it's happened, but those two definitely would like that. That would be some raw, funny talent right there. So
I think that would be better than the Marvel comics.
Yeah, definitely.
First celebrity crush.
First celebrity crush. I got to go with Emma Watson on this one. I was a big Harry Potter person.
Hermione?
Yeah, this is kind of my dorky side, so I've been a big Harry Potter person, so it's Hermione. She was probably my first celebrity crush, I'd be honest.
Nice. I could go back to that, yeah. I'm trying to remember if there's anything. Oh, she was really good in Beauty and the Beast. I remember her in that one, too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been more recent stuff. Yeah, her more recent stuff has been pretty good, too. But, yeah, she's not going to ever live down Hermione in that role, so.
No, that's going to, just like Daniel Radcliffe's always going to be Harry Potter, Emma Watson's always going to be Hermione, so.
Right. Any songs on your playlist that you might be embarrassed if I had a chance to look at them?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a big Kesha person. For people that know my goofy side, when Kesha turns on, I go crazy.
Stop.
For some reason, I like Kesha a lot.
You're Kesha, like TikTok, Don't Stop.
Yeah,
that's the only song I know.
TikTok is one of my all-time faves. That song will come on, and I'll lose my mind. I like Lady Gaga. That's another embarrassing one.
There's no embarrassment with Lady Gaga.
I blame my mom about Lady Gaga because she loves Lady Gaga also. So when she's always playing it in the car, it's kind of catchy after a while. And finally, I'm like, I like Lady Gaga. So
you can blame her for playing in the car, but you can't blame her for the posters that are on your wall.
Yeah, you caught me.
Nice. All right, Lady Gaga. I'm not gonna say I'm not ashamed of saying I've got a little bit of Lady Gaga in me, or what are they, Little Monsters? What was her fan club called? But I don't know. If you know that, never mind. I'm just gonna stop right there. I don't want to know if you know what her little fan club's called. But anyways, yeah, there's nothing wrong with any Lady Gaga. I don't know if you've watched the show Glee, but that's a lot of her music has been in that show. So
yes, it is.
So, is there any movies or TV shows that you watch specifically?
TV shows. Right now, I've been watching a lot of NCIS New Orleans. I like New Orleans more than the normal NCIS in LA because it's more of a small town feel, but like you get more of an in-depth look with the characters in New Orleans. So I've been watching that a lot. That new 911 on Fox, I've been watching a lot about that. So kind of like the drama / fire department / police department.
Okay.
Those kind of genres I like, and I've been watching a lot of that. So, and then movies, not really a specific movie. I love movies, honestly. So if you ever want to catch a movie, I'm a guy you're going to want to ask because I'm down 11 out of 10 times. So
wow.
Not one specific movie, but I watch a lot of movies and TV shows, drama / crime with the police department and fire department. I like that. So,
have you watched The Rookie?
Yes, I know. Speaking of The Rookie, I was just about to say that I finished that series couple of days ago. So Nathan Fillion's actually a very funny guy. I never knew that until now.
Right. He's hilarious. I love that show. The sad thing is if I start liking a show, I get kind of scared that they're going to cut it because every time I like a TV show, they end up cutting it. I'm glad to see that one made it to a second season.
I just finished episode 20 on The Rookie, so I watched. It was funny because speaking of The Rookie, I started it, and then I watched the first two, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then before you know it, a week and a half later, I already watched all 20 episodes. And they just kind of flew past, and now I'm just kind of sitting here hoping that a new season comes out. So
you're sitting there scratching yourself like it's crack. Like, when's the next season coming out? Come on, where is it?
I'm like that with all three of those shows because it's sad. Because when NCIS New Orleans, they just finished season 5.
Yep.
So I jumped to 911. So I watched all of season 2 because I had already seen season 1. My mom actually likes that show a lot too. So that's on. So they're coming out with season 3 right now. So then I jumped to The Rookie, and I just finished that. So right now I got nothing. So I'm kind of panicking and looking for a new series. So if you got something for me, I'd love suggestions.
I will. I'll have to think about that one. But we're in the same alley. I've stopped watching 911. I don't know why I stopped watching it. I watched it up until I think the second to last episode of season 1, and I just haven't picked it up. But I've watched all of the NCISs, all of The Rookie, and all the stuff like that.
Yeah.
What was the last movie you saw?
Last movie I saw, I went to see Aladdin on last Tuesday. So Aladdin was pretty good. I'm not a huge guy when it comes to sing-alongs / movies that have a lot of singing parts, but Aladdin was pretty good. Will Smith does a great job being the genie, I gotta say. And I definitely see that movie again. That was a good movie.
I watched that on Friday. That was pretty good. Yeah. He did a good job. I was worried about having him trying to replace Robin Williams as the genie, but he did fairly well. I liked it. It was pretty good.
I actually never seen the first one with Robin Williams, but actually, yes, I have. I take that back. I've seen the first Aladdin, but Will Smith did a heck of a job. He can dance, and he's got a goofy personality, so he did a really good job being the genie. And I didn't know those other two actors and actress, but overall, it was a really good film, so I liked that a lot.
Right. Have you watched Endgame yet?
Yes, Avengers, I watched that. It was very good.
I'm kind of sad to see some of them go. It was kind of interesting.
It stinks to think that the Marvel is, so if that is in fact the end, it's sad to think about it because I mean it came out a while ago and then all these movies and then just to think about it being done, it just sad, honestly.
Well, I know that the Avengers is done, but I don't think they're done making I know that they're supposed to be doing like another Black Panther or another, was it the Black Widow and stuff like that?
Yeah, but it's cool to see the Avengers all come together. I mean, like I made the mistake about not watching Ant-Man, so when Paul Rudd all of a sudden gets thrown in there, I'm kind of confused. But he did pretty well as the Ant-Man, and it's just cool to see as all the Avengers as they make movies, they add them in. So like for instance, before the one Avengers, they made Black Panther, so then they threw him in the Avengers. And then before Endgame, they made the Ant-Man and the Wasp, so they threw them in the next Avengers. So it's cool just to see them add pieces as they move along.
Paul Rudd is like another one of those guys that you want to hang out with too, just like Adam Sandler and Will Smith. Seems like they just have a good time with them.
Mm-hmm.
What's on your pregame playlist?
Playlist before the game? I don't really have like a specific thing that I play. I just usually people make fun of me that I still use Pandora, but I just have Pandora with.
You're the only one.
So, I mean, yeah, I probably am the only one that still uses it, but I mean, whatever. I'm over it.
Do you listen to it on your Zune?
Yes, I do.
Do you know what a Zune is, by the way?
No, I don't, but I'm guessing something weird.
I'm dating myself, so when Apple came out with the iPod, Windows came out with something similar to that and called it a Zune.
Yeah, I know. I'm totally out of tune with the modern world right now. I know everybody's on like Apple Music, obviously, and all that, but I don't know. Pandora's reliable for me. I don't really care. So it works. But whatever comes on, I play before the game. I know this year we in the van we played a lot of Little Dicky, but
That's what Trent
I
said.
mean, yeah, we played a lot of Lil D, and that was he. I hadn't really listened to him that much before this year, and he's goofy, but he's pretty good. And then I don't know, I just kind of listen to all sorts of stuff. I'm kind of more of a hip hop person, so the Migos, Travis Scott, Future, all sorts of people I'll listen to. And then I also have a little bit of EDM, so I'll have some EDM that I play because I like to jam out like that. And then every once in a while, Gaga or Kesha will come sliding along and I'll jam out. So just whatever comes up, I'll roll with. I'm not too picky when it comes to music.
How do you feel about One Direction?
One Direction?
Yeah, you remember One Direction, or am I dating myself on that one too?
I think you're dating yourself. I mean, One Direction's kind of old, but they're okay, I guess. I mean, I didn't really listen to many other music, so they're okay. I mean, if they come up on the radio, I'll listen to them, but not a huge fan of them, so.
Any weird pregame rituals or routines?
No, not really. I know some people, they'll have like weird things where they have to like do everything at a certain amount of time. Like for instance, first pitch is at 1 o'clock, so that means 12:40 they got to do this. 12:45 they got to do this. So I just kind of roll with the flow before. I try to make sure I don't stress myself out pregame. So if I'm going to be rushing myself, I don't try to worry about it. I just go out there, try to do as best as I can, and I mean, it is what it is. I think pitching in the main part is, I've learned a lot more this year, is that it's so mental that if you're stressing yourself out, you're taking away 75% of your ability to perform well. So probably even more, honestly, but you just got to roll with the punches and just like pregame. If you're going to be rushed, you just got to rush with it, and you just got to know that you're going to go out there and still dominate. If you're going to be slow and take more times to get loose, give yourself some more time and go out there and dominate. So,
Gatorade or Powerade?
I'm a big Gatorade person.
All right, what's your specific flavor?
I'm a Cool Blue. Cool Blue or Fierce Grape have always been two of my top faves. I remember when we were hunting for those at the Gull Lake baseball camps, I'd be always going for blue because I knew that was probably a top two. So that and red. So I'd always want to take those, and I feel like back in the Gull Lake baseball camp days, if you got a Cool Blue, that was like trading for like gold or something. Everybody wanted that, so they'd be willing to give up all sorts of stuff.
The best thing about that, afterwards, when it was all said and done, we got to take whatever was left over. So we were trying to encourage you guys not to hit. I'm just kidding. We weren't trying to encourage you, but again, what was ever left over, we got to take. But anyways, all right. Are you a seeds guy or a gum guy?
I'm a big seeds person. I like dill pickle.
What is up with dill pickle? I don't get it.
Why, you don't like dill pickle?
It's nasty.
Ah, Baird, come on.
I've tried it. I've actually tried it, and I did not like the flavor of it.
You like ranch, don't you?
I am the sweet and salty kind now. Have you tried that yet?
That's fair.
Or sizzling bacon?
I've had that. Yes, I have. Sizzling bacon's pretty good.
Yeah, I would say though dill pickle is probably the most popular one in the dugout, which is crazy. Yep. Now, do you eat pickles on a hamburger?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then that makes perfect sense. So,
I think it's just funny that most of the people I meet, it's either dill pickle fan or a ranch guy. There's I feel like it's one side or the other. Like sizzling bacon and sweet and salty are obviously good, but I feel like mainly when you meet people, other baseball players, they're either ranch or dill pickle. They like the one or they hate the other. There's no in between.
Right. Yeah, there's no in between. That's crazy. All right. Do you like wearing your pants up or down?
I wear them down. I mean, I've always thought about wearing stirrups, but I don't have any pants tight enough to fit good with stirrups. So usually I just wear longer pants and just roll with that. Sometimes it's annoying, though, because because since I'm tall and skinny, it doesn't really work out that well with pants because you either get XLs that are baggy,
Right.
or you get larges that are tight and squeezed. So it's annoying to be out there and about to pitch, and then as you lift your leg, I feel majority of the times that my pants are dragging behind, and it's like, this is so obnoxious, but whatever.
Right. I've never thought about it that way. I am the fat, short guy. So anytime that I have any pants that are to my length as far as waist goes, the length of the pant leg is like super long. So 9 times out of 10, I have to roll my pants up at my waist. So, but, or I would just go through and I would just bring the legs up and kind of wear like long socks. If you could have one job for the rest of your life, what would it be?
100%, I would be a front office person at MLB on an MLB staff.
Nice. I'll have to remember that.
I would definitely want to be in that draft room like that is right now. I'd love to be in that draft room. I'd love to be out there helping the team compete. Like, obviously not team compete, but like help out, put the talent out in the field. And I think that'd be something that I would feel like, it's always that cliche saying that it's not work if you love it. And I think when it comes to something like that, it would be probably pretty similar, because I mean, what could be better than going out there and getting paid to literally help out with the sport that you love? So,
right. I'm kind of interested. I'm waiting for the draft to kind of settle down, but you remember Shu, right? Logan Schumann?
Yes, I do.
He is working with the Detroit Tigers right now down in Lakeland as one of their associate scouts.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Pretty cool.
I'm waiting to pick his brain when he has time. I'd like to get him in here on a podcast, but yeah, just to hear what kind of stories he has and what kind of things he's doing down there is just insane.
I'm excited because Coach P, he's the head coach for the Growlers, and he said that after GV this year, I'm going to get a summer internship, or I'm going to try to get a summer internship with the Growlers so I can get my foot in the door. So that looks pretty good on a resume.
Right. I'm kind of sad that I missed my opportunity to put in an internship for the Growlers this year because Drew Blakely's playing for them. So, but yeah, I have to do one more internship before I graduate, and I'm hoping to either land with the Bombers or with the Growlers, depending on how everything fits. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I emailed the MLB Network and said, hey, I've got an idea for a show. Follow me around. It's going to be a 40-year-old intern. Should be interesting. So
now you're starting to sound like the rookie, kind of.
There we go. Exactly. I was having a midlife crisis too. Geez. Oh, I'm just kidding. Not kind of. Maybe. Yeah. So, all right. Nike or Adidas?
I'm a big Nike person, 100%.
Checks over stripes?
Yep, checks over stripes, but I'm going to GV, so I'm going to have to start rolling with Adidas. But I've always been a Nike person, but if I got to roll with Adidas, I'll roll with Adidas. And I guess we'll just have to roll with it. So
got to do what you can.
Yep.
What sport do you wish you were really good at?
Honestly, I wish I was very good at basketball, because all the chicks love basketball players, and when you're good and you can dunk a basketball, like, what's there not to love? So.
Right. Can you dunk?
No, sadly. People make fun of me, but I have really bad hops, and it's embarrassing to talk about. But I mean, I can come close. I can dunk a volleyball, but I still struggle with the basketball. So.
DH or no DH?
No DH. You got to let the PO swing the bat.
Did you get to hit it all during practice?
We did a thing where if a pitcher throws a shutout, they get to swing in practice. So that was one of the main things that our pitching staff would be goofy about. We'd be sitting in the bullpen and we'd see a shutout about to happen, and we all start going crazy because we know it means pitcher's BP the next day. So to do that, and some of our pitchers can actually hit really well. Like, there was like Ben, my fellow Cougar that's about to go to Grand Valley with me to play. He can hit the heck out of the baseball. He actually hit a home run when we were doing pitcher's BP the one day, so.
Getting his chance at hacks and going up swinging, that's nice. I think it's a universal thing because I was talking with Nick Jansen, who was a pitcher for K College, and he said that if they got a shutout, that they got to do the pitchers only batting practice too. So it was.
Yeah.
He never got to do it very much, but they did throw shutouts. But the coaches never got a chance to throw BP because there's a lot of kids that need BP on a regular. So.
Yeah, it gets hectic. I get that.
PS4 or Xbox?
PS4. I mean, my brother always had a PS2 and then a PS3. So I always played PlayStation growing up. So I got a PS4 instead of an Xbox One when I had an opportunity to decide one or the other.
What kind of games do you play on it?
Right now I'm playing MLB The Show probably the most. I play a little bit of Call of Duty, NBA 2K, Madden, all sorts of stuff. Mainly it's sports in general, but I'll play Call of Duty. Sadly, I can't play Fortnite because I live out in the boonies kind of, so I don't have strong enough internet to play Fortnite, but
you're better
I
off.
watch YouTube about that, so.
Oh, okay. I've never to this day have ever played Fortnite, and I'm proud of myself for saying that.
Yeah, I haven't either, so I'm right there with you.
All right, favorite sports movie?
The Benchwarmers, definitely. That's probably one of my favorites.
What's your favorite character?
I like Howie the most in Benchwarmers.
That's my name.
Yeah.
I like it when he goes to attack the Girl Scout cookie or the Girl Scout girls.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, apple juice. Oh, sorry. So the funny thing is, like, between that movie and The Simpsons, that's probably what I quote the most in the dugout during baseball games. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know anything about either of those, it could be really annoying. But if you know anything about it, it can be really annoying. So needless to say, I've become more annoying since you've left. So
it's all right. I mean, you're still out there to have fun. So I mean, like, I think that's great when you quote quotes in the dugout. We'll always have movie quotes that we'll say, and for people that don't know the movie quote, they're just like, what the heck's going on? But for the people that are in the dugout that do know the movie quote, they start bust out laughing. So it keeps a loose atmosphere. Plus, Coach P, he knows a lot of different movies. I remember in high school, when it came to movie quotes, I think we did a couple of them, but I know you probably had your fair share of movie quotes, and I don't remember them specifically, but probably at the time I was busting out laughing.
I always like going with tell him to pitch from his have to.
Yeah.
Remember the Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year. I don't know. I'm not sure if I've seen it.
Oh, yeah. I'm dating myself. I forget how old I am compared to you guys. It's making me feel sad. Let's just skip back. Let's skip past that and just keep going. Anyways, is there anything special that you collect?
No, not really. I mean, anything special? I don't know, sports memorabilia. I mean, my dad has a lot of football cards that he collects. Okay. I have a couple of different things. I have, like, for instance, I have an MLB ball that I caught at a Tigers game in my room. My dad has all sorts of old football cards. He actually has a Brett Favre Atlanta Falcons rookie card that he's keeping safekeeping, so I don't know what he's going to do with that, but I would be interested to see how much value that's worth. Right.
Yeah, Brett Favre. People forget that he got drafted by the Falcons.
Yep.
Any crazy family traditions?
Crazy family traditions. Baird, you're throwing all these questions I've never thought about before.
Trying to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Some of these I want to have answers for, but I've never thought about them, and now that's on the spot, I just can't think of them.
I think you've done fairly well for yourself so far, so I'm gonna give you a little pass on that one too. If you don't have do you guys always go on, like, for us, we always went to the same place for our Florida trip as far as family goes. We'd always go to Bradenton, Florida every year. So
yeah, we're a little different. I mean, when we go on, like, different trips, we go to all sorts of places. Like, when my brother was growing up, they took us to Washington, D.C., and then we went down to Cocoa Beach. We've been to San Diego before, so we kind of go all over. It was cool to actually go out to California. I've been out there twice before, San Diego and San Francisco. And it's cool to see the East Coast compared to the West Coast. And it's cool to get those trips out there because you get to see all sorts of stuff and you get to have memories with their family, and it's unique, definitely.
What'd you guys do out in San Francisco?
We were out on Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, so that was actually because I was going to go on the Florida trip with the baseball team my senior year. So to make up for it, instead of getting to do a Florida trip with my family, we went to California over New Year's. So we went to Fisherman's Wharf. We got a nice holiday in there. We got to go on the cable cars.
Okay.
Those are cool. We got to go to Alcatraz. That was really cool.
Yeah, we opted not to go there because of all the stairs.
Yeah. Alcatraz is a unique experience. My dad loves seafood, so
okay.
That whole week all he ate was fish. So, and I don't mind seafood either. So, it was good.
Now, did you guys fly out there or did you drive?
Yeah, we flew. We flew over New Year's, and funny story. When we went to Chicago O'Hare. And think about this. This is New Year's Day.
Oh, wow.
So Chicago O'Hare is an absolute mess.
It's a mess no matter what time it is.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But my dad is always slow, so he loves to take his time. He's always on his own schedule. But like you can imagine, flights are on their own schedule, so they don't care about your schedule. So we're full panicking so if you go to Chicago O'Hare, you can go to the Marriott, and they'll have a shuttle that takes you to Chicago O'Hare. And the driver actually told us a trick. He had us get on one of the, you know how like they have the little train / like rail system that goes around there, right?
Yeah.
So we got on an entrance, I think it was B, or maybe it was a number. I can't remember if it's a number or a letter, but we went on one gate. We took that car instead of walks, because if he would have drove us with all the hectic traffic, it would have actually made us way late. But he dropped us off. We took that rail all the way to where we needed to go, and we actually made it to our boarding time with minutes to spare. So
wow,
it was definitely an interesting start to the vacation, but it was cool to see. It was cool to have this trick that we were going to be late, we were going to miss our flight, and it was going to be a rough start to New Year's Day, but then we got on one of the train systems, we made it there, and we were able to make it, and it was a cool start, so it turned out well.
That's good. Did you guys go across the Golden Gate Bridge?
Yeah, we did. We actually ended up going to one of the Redwood National Forests, and to get there we had to take a tour guide, so the tour bus drove us over the Golden Gate Bridge, and like the tour guide had all sorts of goofy facts for us as we were driving, so it was cool to see that. It was foggy though. It's always foggy around that time, so.
Yeah, we went out in June, right after your junior year, because it was the day before I left was the day that I got kicked out of the game in districts. And then we left and we drove out to San Francisco. So we left, took 3 days to get out there, and we did a couple things out there. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit warmer than what it was, and I was not prepared for anything. I mean, I had shorts and T-shirts, that's it. I was not prepared for 60-degree weather.
Yeah, it'll catch you off guard, definitely. It was kind of a bummer for us because, like, so we went out there for a week. So the first 5 days were fine. No, first 4 days were fine. They were probably like 70 degrees, so no complaints. And then the next 3 days, all it did was rain. So my dad was getting kind of annoyed with me because every day was raining, and I don't like being cold and being soaked all the time.
Right.
Because he wanted to be out there and see as much as he could possibly see. So him and my mom were always doing stuff, and I always just like did a couple of things and went back to the hotel to dry up. So like it was crappy weather towards the end of the week. So
nice. Finally, it's my favorite part of the show. Let's get a chance for you to know how well you know Nate. What I do is I ask you about famous people named Nate or Nathan, just to see how well you know Nate. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions. We're going to go from here. Usually it's been okay. Some have been really good. Some have been really bad. We're on an upward trend, so I'm a feeling that I know you're going to probably get at least one of these. So hopefully we can keep moving forward and try to get you 5 for 5. So starting off, we're going to see how well you know Nate or Nathan. Here we go. Number 1, name the Nate. This Nate teamed up with Warren G to make the rap song Regulate. Name this Nate.
Nate Dogg.
There we go. You know the song?
I can't think of it, but I know it yells regulators. I remember that.
Okay. Again, it's an old song. Dating myself on that. So, okay. We'll move past how old I am compared to everybody else. Okay. Number 2, name the Nate or Nathan. This Nathan was part of the hit show Castle. He now plays the main character in the new show called The Rookie. Name this Nathan.
Nathan Fillion.
There we go. 2 for 2. When we started talking about The Rookie and then you named him, I'm like, oh, crap. But I figured we'll keep the softball in there just in case you struggled. It's only going to get harder. Trust me. It only gets harder. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Number 3, name the Nate. This Nate is a former NBA basketball player. He also starred in the movie Uncle Drew. Name this Nate.
Nate Robinson.
Yep, little short guy, the old guy in the wheelchair. So
yeah, Uncle Drew's a good movie too. I recommend that.
I didn't think it was going to be that good, and then I watched it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it. You didn't think it was that good. I thought it was pretty good.
It was good. No, I didn't think it was going to be that good until I watched it. I'm like, I'm a big, huge Nick Kroll fan, and obviously he's from Big Mouth and some of the other things. The League. If you've watched The League, I'm not sure. Have you watched that show at all? The League.
No, I've heard a lot about The League, but I have yet to watch it.
That's something you could probably binge watch and like. I thought that was pretty good. So going back to your original question on things that you could probably start watching now, that would be a good one to watch.
Okay, cool.
So 3 for 3. All right. Number 4, name the Nate. This Nate was a former place kicker for the San Diego Chargers. Name this Nate.
Former place kicker for the Chargers. I'm thinking of my NFL. I don't know.
Nate Keating. Yeah, that was a little struggle to get that one. I actually topped out after like 3. I think the first 3 were pretty good. The next 2, I was grasping at straws. Unless you know who Nathan Lane is. Do you know who Nathan Lane is?
No, I don't.
Okay, that was another one. He played one of the characters in Lion King. He was on the Bird Cage. I don't know. Older actor. Proving my age once again to you young kids how pathetic I am. Anyways, number 5. All right. Number 5. This Nate is the current head coach for the Indianapolis Pacers. Name this Nate.
I should know this. One. Honestly, when it comes to NBA, Frank Vogel's obviously not there anymore.
Right.
I didn't even know who the Raptors head coach was until recently. So when it comes to the NBA, I haven't really been paying attention much to it. So that one I don't know either.
Nate McMillan is the current head coach for the Indiana Pacers. I got to say it right. Indiana Pacers. There we go. So there we go. And, 3 for 5. That's not bad. Again, some weeks are better than others. So I never know what people are going to know. Yeah, you're going to take it. What is it? 3 out of 5. What's that? That's 600?
60%. Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. It could have been better. There should be a lot more people named Nathan that are popular. So you never know what's going to happen. Maybe there's going to be a Nate Wargolet that's going to be drafted by the Tigers eventually. So who knows? So
who knows? That would be a goal.
Anything surprise you about the Major League Draft going on right now?
I've been paying attention. I can see that Tommy just got drafted, him and Carl Kaufman. It's pretty cool to think about that Tommy's been drafted when we played against him. And Carl Kaufman I don't know much about. And then Jordan Brewer actually just got drafted too.
Yeah, I saw that.
We played against him at St. Joe. So a lot of the local talent making big names. So
I didn't know he went to St. Joe. Wow. Thank you for clearing that up on me. I haven't done any research on where he went, but I know that he was blowing up. I actually texted Tommy and asked him if he was as cool as he looks on TV. He never responded back. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta.
But I remember we played St. Joe, and Jordan Brewer was their center fielder, and I think it was my junior year, and Drew hit an absolute rocket into the left center gap, and I want to say it might have been Rugi or somebody else. They were gonna round third and head home. Jordan Brewer was in the left center gap at St. Joe. He picks it up, throws an absolute laser to home, and gets Rugi out. And it was crazy because, like, he was on the fence, and it looked effortlessly. He just turned around and just threw a dart, and it just came screaming in, and it got him out. It was crazy. I still remember that.
Wow, that is crazy. Again, I feel dumb for not knowing that he was from St. Joe.
Yeah.
How about that? Learn something new every day. So, all right.
You're welcome. There you go.
There we go. Awesome. Thanks for being part of my podcast. It's been a blast. Again, is there anything you want to talk about? Give any shout outs before we go?
I'm going to come back on that. If I could be somewhere, what was that question? If I could be somewhere, what would it be? Question that I had come back.
If you could go back in time and observe any event in history without changing the outcome, what would that be?
It would be Jackie Robinson when he actually started for the Dodgers. I think that would be probably the coolest event for me, because me obviously being a baseball fan, it changed the course of human history, and it changed the baseball landscape forever. And I think going back, that would probably be one of the coolest things you could ever see, is some guy from the Negro League coming and playing and just becoming an icon and a sensation. And now that every year the MLB has Jackie Robinson Day, and they all wear 42, and it's really cool to see. And I think that would be probably the coolest moment I would like to see in person.
Nice. That's a great one. I never thought about that. You know, it's nice to hear what other people think about as far as that goes. I ran into someone said they want to go back and see if Babe Ruth actually did call the shot, see if that actually happened. But
yeah, that would be really cool.
But yeah, the whole Jackie Robinson thing is just how it changed baseball for the best, and really it changed society as well. So yeah, that's a good one to think about too. So
that's one of the crazy things to think about, is that not only did it change baseball landscape forever, it made a huge part of human history. So little did you know that him doing that and him overcoming the odds became part of our history as America. So like, it's crazy.
That is crazy. Well, good job. Thank you so much for being part of the show. You did a great job. Had a blast. Always feel like these are a reunion to kind of catch up with everybody that we've been with. So again, thank you. I
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. Again, good luck at Grand Valley State University, and work on Cade, and maybe get Coach P to see if he wants to sit in the Baird Cave with me, see what he has to say, pick his brain a little bit. So, all right.
All right. I appreciate it.
Have a good one, buddy.
See ya.
All right, that's number 16 in the book. Thanks again for Nate for joining me in the Baird Cave. It was awesome to have him part of my show. Hey, can you think of someone else that might be a good fit? Please let me know. Again, like I said, I have people reaching out to me. I'm going to try to get on as many kids as I want. Finding out now that we played against Jordan Brewer, maybe I can get him in the Baird Cave as well. I definitely want to get Carl Kaufman. I reached out to CJ Huntley. Chris Crawford, by the way, who is a former NBA player. I'm hoping to get him involved. Fingers crossed with that one. Again, he might be another white whale. I've put in talks with Drew Neitzel. So if anybody knows Drew Neitzel, let me know. Again, help me out. I'll keep making them if you keep listening. So thank you so much for that. Again, if you can think of anyone else that might be a good fit on the show, let me know. Please subscribe, follow, share, like, all those fun things. You can check out previous episodes too. You can find the Baird Necessities on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. Yeah, and YouTube. I keep forgetting to add YouTube. Yep, follow me there on Twitter at the Baird NEC. Send me some email. Again, let me know if I'm missing anything, if I drop anything, or if, I'm not saying anything correctly. I am always up for criticism. No, I'm not. But anyways, if you want to and you want to just talk a little bit, become my first fan, I'm okay with that. Drop me an email at thebairdnec@gmail.com. Please tell all your friends. So join me next week. Same Baird time, same Baird channel. It's Coach Baird, and you've been listening to the Baird Necessities. Good night.